Welcome back to Plots and Reviews. My name is Brie. It's great having you here. Let's get to the point. So, over the last few days, like the last week, I've been talking a lot about Shelly Laurenston and my love for her. And I bet some of you are like, who cares? What does she mean? So I would like to take this opportunity to share with you the top 7 things I absolutely love about Shelly Laurenston's books. And, well, Shelly Laurenston / G.A. AIKEN. I don't know which one is her actual real name. Anyway, the top 7 things I actually love about her books and why it is that whenever she has a new book out, I'm like, I need to get this. I need to read it immediately. Let's begin. My love for Shelly Laurenston started when I was a wee girl of 16 or 18. I am not really sure. It was one of those teens. And I came across her book, Dragon, actually. And I was like, And at the end, I was like, yes! And will! And since then, I have been a faithful AIKEN / Laurenstonian, which is how I decided that we, lovers of her work, should be called. You're welcome. Okay, let's just get into this. So, reason number 1. There is a lot of violence, blood, not gore, but just a lot of violence. It's like an action movie book version. You see the action clearly. It's amazing. I don't know how she does it. I don't know if she's done martial arts or if she really likes action movies and pays attention to the action scenes. I don't know. I just know that if you are someone who appreciates bleeding and like people getting beat up and it being described in like very creative and visible ways, you should read her books. If you are not one of these people, do not read her books. Move on to something else. This isn't for you. Not everything needs to be for you. Reason number 2. The friendships, loyalty, and families matter in her book. What I really like is that she builds families that are actual families, so it's about the siblings protecting the other siblings, keeping them safe, of course, making fun of them, because what's the point of having siblings if you don't make fun of them? Of course, annoying them, because again, what is the point of having siblings if you don't annoy them? So all of that is there, but it's the importance of having the family, and the family, regardless of what being there. She also builds families for persons who may not have families, whether they're only children, whether they're orphans, or maybe their families are just composed of some terrible people and they need better people in their lives. So she builds friendships around these people, even persons who are reluctant. She builds friendships around them. And I find that so important because many times you may feel that you have to agree with everything that someone else is before you can be friends. And that's not true. What you need to do is learn how to appreciate that person and the components that makes up that person. And I believe that Shelly Laurenston does an excellent job in making this happen in her book, in describing it and in fulfilling this promise of, you can find people who can appreciate you as you are. They may not be normal. Weird people are the best people. They may not be normal, but they will appreciate you and you can have a really good time with them. So you can find friends. 3rd reason, the hot men. There are a lot of hot men. She has a lot of hot men in her books. They come in all shapes and sizes, variety, like sprinklings of things. The majority of them are shifters, right? So they can become something else. They're actually like tigers that become people. If you don't like shifter novels, like if you don't believe that people should become awesome creatures, if you don't believe that maybe a tiger should become a hot man, then her books are not for you. If you don't think that dragons can walk around looking sexy, her books are not for you. Move on. Move on to something else. If you can appreciate creativity and hot men regardless, her books are for you. Next. So, number 4. I have here typical and atypical women. So, what Shelly Laurenston does, and this is something that I have found amazing, because when I first read her book, when I was at that unknown age, whether it was 16 or 18, I don't remember, but I found her email address and I wrote her and I was like, I have read so many of your books. At the time, I had read probably like 5 or 6 of her books, and I love all of your female characters. There is not a single one of her female characters that I despise. Do you know how hard that is? That is very hard. In my life, she is the only author who has made me respect every single one of her characters. And what I appreciate about them is that they're all different. You have the super girly ones that are like, oh, I'm a princess, but I will destroy your house. Or you have the like warrior queens. You have the ones who may not be very sure of themselves. You have the insane freaks. And you just have a variety of women. But within it, she gives all of them purpose. And they all know what their strengths are, or they learn what their strengths are, so they know where they may need support. And in this, they're able to fight together with their friends, to create groups that help to fill the gaps in their abilities. And I respect that so much. Her women come in different shapes, sizes, colors. She plays with ethnicities. She plays with races. She does all of this masterfully. It's amazing. And the other thing that really, it always like makes me compare her work to the work of other fantasy authors that I come across. Usually in fantasy novels, there's a type. We know what that type is. We know what it looks like. Sometimes the hair color may change from like like a chestnut or a burgundy, or it may occasionally be like full white. And that's basically it. It's usually this person that you wonder, how the hell did they develop this ability? Wow, they are so skinny and they can beat up everyone. That is so realistic. And you realize it's fantasy, and you're like, okay, fine, it's fantasy. Let's just roll with the ball. But then it happens in every or the majority of books that you read, and you get bored. Yeah, not Shelly Laurenston. Thank you, Shelly Laurenston. So she has her very skinny characters who, manage to do things. But then she also writes about these women who have giant shoulders, giant necks, like they're huge. And in comparison, the men that they're attracted to and that they end up with are also huge, or are bigger than they are. But she includes all shapes and sizes, and I need this. I needed this because we don't all look the same. Like your group of friends, if you're the type that prefers to be with people who look like you, your group of friends may resemble you, but mine does not. Like I have friends that are bigger than me, smaller than me, shorter than me, taller than me, and the combinations. And being able to read stories where I can see people who are friends who are so different, but they manage to work together, seeing that, reading that in a book and living it, it's like, yes, this can be me and my friends. We can totally be here. Yes, we would totally attack those boats and destroy it after running away like freaks screaming because we stole 4 paintings. That can happen. She makes that possible, and I love that for her. I love that about her. I love that that there's inclusion. That's nice. Inclusion is nice. Point number 5. Okay. Point number 5. We have characters that you want to remember and that you need to remember because they pop up. So most of her worlds, she has 2 main worlds. So when she writes as G.A. Aiken, she has like dragon shifters, and now she has like centaur shifters, kind of centaurs. And she writes like urban fantasy where you have lions, tigers, badgers, zebras, zebras get eaten, hyenas, etc. Right? And in the dragon world, you have some offshoot stories that either tell you about a character that you've met before, or eventually gives you an idea of what has been going on while the characters that you've known or that you've met, while they were doing whatever they were doing. I love that. I don't necessarily always like series, but her series are so engaging, and the characters are persons that you just grow to love and admire. So you're like, oh, I wonder what Anwell is doing now. I wonder how the kids are doing. I wonder what X person is up to. And you get some of that in the other book, in the other books that you read. I love it. I love it. These are characters that you want to remember, and that, speaking about her always makes me so happy. Okay, that being said, again, if you do not like the violence, if you do not like the beatings, if you are someone who's like, no, let's save everyone, let's not kill a single soul, these books are not for you, okay? Moving along. So I sort of mentioned this as my 5th reason, but my 6th reason, these are characters that you care about and that appeal. They are, I believe, fully rounded characters, or mostly rounded characters, in that you get a sense of what they're up to. You get a sense of where they've come from. You also get a sense that when you close the book, their lives continue. And I mentioned that I had this problem when I was reading
that one with Mira. Oh, before she ascends, or as she ascends, before she ignites, when she reigns.
That whole Fallen Isles trilogy. When I closed the book, I had no idea what these people. To me, it's like I closed the book, they died. That's it. They just went. When I close a book with Shelly Laurenston, I know that it's like I'm missing out on a lot of insane things that are happening. And I'm like, lady, hurry up and write another book so I can know what has been going on since the last time I closed one of your books. Give me the tea. And again, I haven't come across books that have managed to keep me there for so long. I have read all of her books, every single one. And I have been here, and I will continue to be here for all of them. Every single one. The closest I have gotten, there are some like Nora Roberts trilogies that I find engaging to that point. Like I feel that when I finish a story, that there are things that happen that I would have missed. So I'm very eager to start the other one. But I think Nora Roberts wraps up her stories well enough that there doesn't seem to be more tea once she's done. It's just like, yeah, this is what happened, and they literally went and lived happily ever after without an issue. And you're like, oh, okay then. And you close the book. Someone recently that I feel has there's tea going on when I'm not present. Holly Black's Cruel Prince, Folk of Air, or whatever. That I feel could be some more but I do not like Jude. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, Shelly Laurenston, I want to know what is going on when I'm not there. Write another book. Thank you. And last but not least, number 7, I always laugh when I read her books. Always. And not like, this is so funny. But I'm like, and it's not the best. My mother has issues, and people, my husband has occasionally come to check in to ensure that I was okay. I was okay, but he was concerned about my well-being. But I laugh a lot because there's violence, but there's like humor, and I don't know why, but even the violence doesn't come across as malicious. Like, it's strange. It could be my bias. I acknowledge this. But when people are killed by the characters that I love in these books, it's not malicious. It's like, oh, well, you had to die. Why did you have to die? Because you were trying to kill me and my friends. You were trying to kill my family. So I'm sorry, Bob. You and your group needed to go. Bye. And you're like reading and you're like, yep, Bob needed to go. Bob and all his friends needed to go. And it's just there. But there's so much humor. And again, it goes back to what I was mentioning about the friendships and the families and the connections. There is so much humor there that it's heartwarming. It's so heartwarming. Strangely enough, I find her books, with all of the violence, with all of the madness, some of them have witches, some of them have persons being taken, trafficked. There's some sensitive writing sometimes where persons may find triggering. But within it all, when I finish one of her stories, it's so heartwarming, and I am so eager to know that person is okay, and to know what else is happening. Like, it's so warm, but not fluffy. Some parts are fluffy because some of the characters are fluffy, but it's like this, let's blow things up, but not in the bad way. And it's so hard to explain without coming across like a psycho. It's nice. It's really nice. Yeah, I like it. It's not for everyone, I will say that. I have seen people commenting that they really disliked it. Some persons mentioned that they didn't like the aggression that some of the women portray towards the men. Some persons have mentioned, oh, it's just like these women are out of control. And I'm just like, yeah, not all of us have to be passive aggressive. Yeah, some women can lead the troops, take control. It's not for everyone, Veronica, but you do you, you do you. That's all I'm saying. Do you. Live your life. Live your best life, Veronica. Live your best life. So those are basically the top 7 reasons I love reading anything by Shelly Laurenston / G.A. AIKEN. I hope I've tantalized you enough to go and try one of her books. Recently, in one of the book clubs I'm in, the Literary Sage book club, we had one of her books, and the persons liked it enough, so I was like, yay. But I tried out again, considering the warnings that I gave. Try it out, see if it works for you, and if it doesn't, it just doesn't. And there are so many other books out there, so you can enjoy those too. Again, thank you so much for checking in. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I really like making these random conversational videos instead of pure reviews. I hope you're enjoying them as much as I am. It's been great having you. Thanks for checking in, and see you again next time. Bye-bye. Take care.